I'm going to take a little sip of some Workhorse Virgin Cask just to get started. Since that's how we're starting.
Starting with the virgin sacrifice.
Exactly. Really warms up the palate. There we go.
It warms the spirit.
Loosens the pipes.
Let's do some talking now.
Some Grass Valley juice.
Right. If we're all ready, I'll get us started.
Let's do it.
So you don't shun the devil with your rock and roll, Lord. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil runs his groove in them rhythm and blues. That sound it's gonna get you sun in the air.
Welcome back to the Speakeasy. I'm Damon Bolte.
I'm Sother Teague.
And I'm Greg Benson, and it's Halloween, baby. Happy, spooky, decorative gourd, anatomically inaccurate skeleton statue season to everyone who celebrates out there. One of my favorite holidays. I'm super stoked about it. It's been a hell of a month, and I hope whatever you're doing, you're keeping it spooky out there today.
Yeah, we got one of those dogs. My in-laws got us one of those skeleton dogs that like howls every time you walk by it. It's on the front porch. I'm so ready to pack that thing away.
How do the real dogs feel about the skeleton?
Oh, it drives our dog crazy. Yeah, and also he likes to, he sees pumpkins on the porch as food that fell on the ground. So it's not like a decorative thing. It's like, oh, cool, I can eat this.
The thing is, he's not wrong. Like, we are taking perfectly good produce and just kind of like leaving it out there on the floor. So he's really just kind of, this is just the cycle of life, really.
Totally. And it's such a weird industry too, because I mean, you think about like, I know we talked about a month ago on the show about like, pumpkin and cocktails and just drinks in general, and it's, it started as like a, craft beer doing, pumpkin ales and things like that around the holidays, but then ended up in the beverage world being all about pumpkin spice lattes, which is more about the spice than it is the pumpkin. So
there's a pumpkin spiced Chardonnay on the market.
Of course there is.
Yeah, nice.
No part of me is surprised to hear this news.
I won't be at that dinner party. But the thing is, it's driving around out here in the country in California. It's like you see all these pumpkin patches. I was down south last weekend, down at Pacifica and Pescadero and all that, and there's a lot of them there. There's a lot of them around, West Marin and whatnot. But it's just kind of it's almost about everything but the pumpkin. It's like the kids go out, they have like bouncy castles, all this entertainment stuff going on. And like, it's just the pumpkin is the conduit for like everything else.
Listen, I invested in pumpkins in the late summer and the futures have been going up and up and up. I'm going to hold until around November 30th before I sell. I think I'm going to make a mint this year.
I agree. Yeah. Get those diamond hands, baby.
I think the market crashes after today.
Well, how do you guys feel about this as like an industry holiday? Because back in my days when I was behind the bar, I preferred working a Halloween so that I didn't have to be out on the other side. Yeah, exactly.
But to a degree, Greg, I think all of us kind of feel that way about every holiday, right? I'd rather be behind the bar on Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Like, I think there's something about the safety of being behind the counter.
The bar, again, the bar is short for barrier,
That's
so
right.
and you have your space, probably one of the more comfortable spaces that you exist in. The only thing that changed about it is on the other side and maybe a special venue or something like that. But
sure.
I agree. I totally.
But I do love the pageantry of Halloween. I love that people get dressed up. I love that it never lasts the one day that it's supposed to be. Thanksgiving happens on the one day,
Right.
Oh yeah, no, this is a whole month, motherfucker. Like, I've been going hard for spooky season. Yeah.
Spooky season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made myself a little, I think anyone who's even a casual listener of this show will know that I'm a huge fan of the Alien movie franchise. Mm-hmm. And thanks to one day where I just ran out of my ADHD medication, I was like, I bet I can figure out how to make a face hugger mask. And I did. Nice. And it was a great weekend. I just crafted and listened to podcasts, and I've been scaring a lot of people. I don't know. I like this time of year. I feel like there was never a time in my life where I wanted to be at a bar on Halloween, but as I've gotten older, I think one of the perks of aging is like, one, I think maybe I just like my friends more than I did when I was 22. So I'm like, I actually want to spend time with you guys. But also, like, they have nice apartments now, so we can have like cozy little house parties away from all of the chaos. So
totally.
Yeah.
Big fan of Halloween. Stay safe. Check your candy for razor blades and fentanyl, and have a good time out there, I guess.
If it has the blue star on it, just send it my way.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think
Damon does all these lab testing pro bono.
I'll take any acid, basically, I guess.
Can confirm. I think this year I'm going as frantic entrepreneur, which is an outfit that I wear kind of all the time. But
you got that at Spirit, right?
Yeah, yes. But I just want to plug that, as a matter of fact, at the top of the show here. I am starting a new podcast in January, guys, with Tim McCurdy from VinePair. He broke away from VinePair, and we're going to go on and make our own show. It's called Sauced. He and I both used to be chefs, so the show is all about breaking down a food recipe that involves booze and then pairing a cocktail to go with that recipe, right? So, like, for instance, we're doing beef bourguignon as our premiere episode starting in January, and then we'll break that thing down and talk about how to prepare that dish, and then we'll talk about what we would drink with it. And it's a great show, and we're looking forward to producing it. But we started a Kickstarter. It's in its preview right now. And we'll have links to that in the show notes. The Kickstarter is going to go live on November 5th, I think, the day after the elections here in New York. But love to have your support. Even if you just want to click on the Kickstarter just so it shows that we have support, that helps us beat the algorithm. We're always trying to beat the algorithm. So
I'm excited about this show because it's, when I think about stuff food that's cooked with booze, I always go to wine, brandy, and rum, basically. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's about where it ends for me. And then there's a book called Cooking with Fernet Branca, but it's not so much about it going into the recipes.
Well, our show's going to touch on that too, right? We're going to be drinking. We talk about what we drink while we would make dishes, especially dishes that take a long time. Right. We talk about what we would drink with that dish once it's prepared. So it's, it's always coming back to the drink, but we're, reinvigorating our former careers as chefs and tying these two things that we love together. And also, it just gives us an excuse to get together and cook, and it's been a lot of fun creating the show, the plans for the show, and can't wait to get the show out there.
Yeah, exciting.
Damon, I have to ask: did you write the Cooking with Fernet book? Because I'm imagining it's just like and the whole book is like it's very artful spreads of you just like making recipes completely unrelated to Fernet, just like in your home kitchen in your underwear with just a bottle of Fernet and a shot glass. It's like Now we're going to do the chicken cordon bleu. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think there's a book in there, man. I'm just saying.
Beef Wellington. Yes. It's taken me hours. Now we're on to bottle 2. It's actually, it's funny because way back in the day, whenever I would look on eBay for old Fernet Branca ephemera, that book would come up all the time. And so it's been around for a long time, and it's funny to say I own a copy of it, but I've never read it.
What does this book have to teach you that you don't already know?
I know, and I might be sitting on a freaking the next Bible or something. But anyway,
it's a scary proposition. But what isn't scary? Nope. That also happened on Halloween. Yeah. In 2014, a little brand called Workhorse Rye launched in a little town you might have heard of named San Francisco. And we have the founder, mastermind, nomadic wizard behind that brand on the show with us today. It's Rob Easter. What's going on, man? Happy birthday to Workhorse Rye. Good to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So honored to be here.
I've been looking forward to having you on the show for a while, man. You and I have been friends for a minute, and I normally don't like to start people off on our guests by being like, so give us your backstory. But like, I say this with all the love in my heart, Rob. I think you kind of need an introduction. Like, it would be irresponsible of me to start people off cold. Like, you got to stretch first. So tell us a little bit about kind of your guiding philosophy behind Workhorse Rye, especially as it applies to the world of agriculture and heirloom seeds. Basically, what the hell are you doing and how did you start doing it?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so the North Star is really holistic thinking, right? It's philosophically making art, which might sound redundant, but actually there's a lot of depth behind these liquids, right? And so I do come from the hospitality world. I am an obsessive, and I just wanted more behind the bar, right? I was working at nice coffee shops. The connection now is a no-brainer. It's like, okay, we talk about all these varieties in cafes of, you know, different coffees. We talk about the farmer. If you're lucky, maybe they'll even talk about the soil or companion planting and stuff like that. And you get more of that in wine, don't we? I just didn't see that with spirits. I saw a lot of marketing tales, and you know, it's been a hell of a ride. I started this journey in 2011, and I've been bartending for a lot of it. These days, I more just kind of do private events, or I'll do consulting, but I mostly been very lucky to run a scrappy operation that keeps growing a little bit every year. Obviously, a lot of challenges in the past 5 years we'll talk about. I think they're very interesting and very a lot of bummers out there, but I think we're all here to figure out what the next waves are, right? For me, it's about making very interesting spirits that you probably haven't, considered or had anything like, and just showing inclusivity, diversity, showing off the farmer more than the real like spun up marketing tale. I represent myself. I bring my farmers around often. I bring the actual grains with me to meetings to show my spirits to buyers and to the public. I'm very, it sounds a little arrogant. I'm pretty generous with the spirits with the public, and I kind of feel like I should be, and I need to, because this stuff's so different and it's so exciting and it tastes really different. And so that's everything I've done has been really DIY. I come from that grassroots DIY ethic, and that's kind of the deal. It's art, but through a real punk rock lens.
You know, this is a great story. Your products have a good story behind them. It fits the cultural zeitgeist. Everyone, middle-class consumers are just going apeshit for anything that's like heirloom, whatever these days. People have figured out that they taste good and they're willing to spend some extra money on it. And the proof is in the pudding. Your product is really, really good. So
Thank you.
The obvious question is, why isn't everyone doing this? And the obvious answer is, it sounds really fucking hard. So how do you make this task you've set for yourself manageable?
Damn, dude, that really, my ego feels so loved right now. Thank you. Because it is true. And my family and friends and frankly, colleagues, like my, whatever, like clients become friends when I'm so lucky I get to like select the restaurants and bars that I focus on. I don't, you know what I mean? And so I do live my life with my industry folk. I always have. That's where I come from. And so everybody knows this is pretty hard. And when you start something like this, when you're fucking 23 years old, like I did, like a wonderful dumbass,
brave and crazy, man.
It's crazy. And I am crazy. And it's like, every day that I wake up and somebody hasn't, taken my lunch, and, cause I want people to use these grains, by the way. Maybe not maybe I don't want everybody using the Floriani, or maybe there's a couple where I'm like, I buy all of that, but where I'm like, hey, you know what? And it's more out of like, come on, if you're in New York or you're in, what is your current punching bag town? Lansing, Michigan.
Lansing, Michigan. Yes.
Yo, I know you have local heirloom grains over there, guys. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you better be buying some of those. And so I want, it's so funny. Like, you know what? Yeah, I want my farmers to be wealthy in health and wealthy in stability. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a get rich thing. This is, but look, we need to be taking care of our community, and we need to be thriving, and it's time for that. And that there's a lot of issues with agriculture and economy and workers right now, and whatever angle you want to get to it at. It shouldn't be political party based. It really shouldn't be. And I don't speak that way. But it's really about, like, it's so damn hard to run anything small, especially in food and drink, if but this thing I've done, my family and friends have made it possible. And there's a lot I could say about that. I don't have big backers. I'm really careful about bringing on capital, because I've seen capital ruin shit. And, so yeah, I'm in a growth phase, and growth is expensive and it's hard, and I'm tired, but I am really grateful. And I have a lot of people who encourage me. I mean, I have to say, I'm told all the time that people they really love my work. And that matters, especially when people are also buying it when they tell me that, which is really cool. I hate to be that specific, but come on, like, here we are in America, got to pay the bills and got all this shit. So it's like, it is. It's difficult because there's a lot of things that are unseen, and I don't need anybody to see them, but there's things that, you wouldn't ever get. And it's not just government regulations. People kind of tend to like be hung up on that. And like, sure, I wish that we had more thoughtful regulations anywhere. Right. Some more empathetic laws and regulation, but really it's about the government definitions, and it's really just about the economy and the favoring of billion-dollar companies, right? And how they inoculate the culture. And so I have to it's crazy, but literally I basically had to stomach this 10 years ago and go, okay, not everybody's going to understand how precious these drops of spirit are, because this is when you do the math, and then you also see how much time I put in and how much time my farmers put in, right? And my friends and family, do subsidize some of this with coming to help bottle, right? And then I do hire people sporadically, right? I'd love to. I can't wait to hire a few people to help, but in the meantime, it's people who see me and go, "Oh my God, this is special. It is difficult. Is there anything I can do to help? Here's what I can do." And those are often the partnerships that really work, because, it's one thing to be like, all right, cool, here's a loan or this or that. It's like, that's great. And I know better than to say yes to most of that, but it's really about, okay, what do you do? And Greg, obviously we're interacting in that way. It's like, okay, what do you have to bring to the table? Because this takes effort and some cash sometimes, but look, I don't come from like a family that has cash or businesses. And so financing this, especially now, is difficult. And so I will tell you, there have been some years where I've gotten some cash to do a lot of production. So grateful for that, because I have whiskey that I've been aging, and brandy and other things. But these days it is challenging, because although I have a hell of a shot to put my vodka and whiskey in a lot of states right now, I am very lucky to have an opportunity with Skurnik, and hit up your local Skurnik rep, and a couple other distributors that really want to back me and see that I'm worth it, and then I'm different, and working with me is a little different, but that it's worth it.
Yeah, man. Speaking of big brands versus small brands, and capital, I think of things I'm a musician. I think of things in music terms. So, when you think about like distribution and sales and marketing for the big brands, like Capitol Records, for one, let's say, since we're just talking about Capitol, a different type. This seems to be like getting into like your modern ancient line of products. It's like, it seems to be like your indie label, 100%. And you've got these artists that are maybe a little bit avant-garde, to say, like haven't been really so much discovered yet, but the love is out there. And to me, it's these are the kind of records and the songs that I send to my friends. It's like a word of mouth, and it's like so like it really is. It takes a community to like get behind this. Like you were saying before too, It's like I love when we talk about products as an agricultural product on the show. If we ever get to talk about the farming and farmers and just the rare ingredients, I mean, to me, that's the most important thing. I grew up growing corn and wheat in Southwest Oklahoma. Like, this is like, to me, it's like, this is just how it was done, and like, we didn't spray. It was like everything was organic. And so there was, to me, it's just like when I started hearing the buzzwords of organic, I was like, wait, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, it's done like this. I'm like, oh, wait, that's just how we always did it. I didn't know that. I don't know. That's maybe a little naive. Beautiful. When I moved to New York City and it was like, everything's organic. I'm like, well, you guys really need this apparently, because you don't get it. You don't get it.
Our bodies at that point were like 85% DEET and microplastics. Yes.
Yes.
We're just like, we needed it desperately.
So on that note, I mean, like of being like an indie label for Modern Ancient, I mean, how does it make it, you're kind of like a one-man band in that sense,
bit.
you know, because you're going out there, you've got the cymbals between your knees, and you've got like, a tuba over here and a banjo here, and like,
bro,
you're mixing it all together.
I'm driving the trucks often, but I do look, it is really DIY. And so hopefully this next chapter includes a little bit more of a band. But that is true
totally.
Because, you know, and I am a musician as well. And I do think of it that way. The Modern Ancient thing to me, the way I look at it now, between the efforts of like growing corn myself to grow out seed for farmers, and then my messaging, which is sometimes esoteric, sometimes to the point, not always to the point, sometimes, you know, just very passionate. And then this product that ends up not, you know, tasting like other things. Like, to me, this is, now I'm realizing this is my effort into surrealistic art, actually. Because I'm kind of like tweaking something. I'm kind of showing you I'm telling you how things are that's uncomfortable, that fucking nobody wants to hear, okay? And me neither. But like, I'm acknowledging these things, and then, but I'm giving you something beautiful, and I'm saying, hey, look, we got this one small human life. I'm not trying to expect the world. I'm trying to say, do you want to try something special in this moment that actually is hopeful? and do you want to get behind that? And so, yeah, to your point, the Workhorse thing is, I'm actually relaunching shortly, you know, really since the pandemic. I've had to move a couple of times because a few distilleries have closed, but I'm relaunching the Workhorse brand. Like, my new bitters are out, they're available. And then I'm going to have Workhorse Rye is basically being relaunched as, there you go, as, you know, the one organic rye to rule them all. And so it'll be relaunched quite simply to live up to kind of focusing on the namesake of focusing on the farmers, and then also giving you a Workhorse bottle that it, you know, yes, it's more expensive than old Overholt, but it's a lot more flavorful. And so the Modern Ancient stuff, look, it really is. I think it's surrealist, you know, art. And so like this stuff, for example, you know, like I said, this Floriani, you know, red corn, this is like an olive oily, nougaty, fatty tasting corn. It's not your sweet corn you're used to. And is it the end all be all corn? No, it's one of many. That's the point, isn't it? And so, but also in front of you, I've proven some products in Arizona recently. I've got a prickly Paramaro. I'm doing botanical spirit distillation, kind of like you would distill a gin, except using totally different botanicals and obsessing over the spirit base. So expect some more colors of the kaleidoscope out of me, because really, to me, yeah, the Modern Ancient label, this is a genre-less free jazz band, okay? And like, you know, to get real heady, I'm you know, the heady obsessive guy. And, you know, there's going to be some mainstays. I mean, hell, I'm putting out, you know, what some people would consider a blank canvas vodka, but it's got good texture, right? And it does taste better. And I've had the reverberations in the market now. Like, it took me forever. I'm so crazy. I just never thought of doing something so simple. And you know what? I took just a little bit of obsessiveness to it, and it's a multi-effort distillery, you know, effort. And let me say something further about community, because yeah, this is community from the ground up. Like my farmer Sherry of Tehachapi Grains Project, she takes me to chefs to pour whiskey for them. Then we start a thing, right? And they start stocking it at the bar. We take each other out to lunch. We talk about good and bad days. We call each other. I mean, this is a relationship that I cherish. And so
it's your chosen family.
You know, and Farmer Mai, Farmer Mai's rye is in this, grown in Sonoma, and they've tested like 100+ different heirloom wheats. They do everything with love and, you know, activism. They're working with the LA school system to bring heirloom grains into LA public schools, right? A farmer in this bottle is doing that work. So when Farmer Mai gets paid, that makes me feel good. Okay.
Right. Yeah, sure.
And it's an act of hope, but I'll say something further about the community effort. And this is a little, here's a little, you know, just a fun little, hot tip for distilleries. You don't have to just source from MGP, right? So for those of you who don't know, there is one, there's a mega factory distillery in the U.S. in Indiana. It's called MGP, Midwestern Grain Products. Please don't target me, guys. I'm not trying to bother you so much, but I will say almost everybody picks out casks from them. And look, they're cheap, and I get it. And people, and guess what? Furthermore, than they're cheap, people are used to it, and they're already drinking a lot of it, and so it tastes familiar. Does it taste bad? Not necessarily. It's the standard, and we can do better. And so guess what? I know that growth is hard, because trust me, I've worked at a lot of distilleries. I've been doing this 15 years. I know that growth is hard. I've seen distilleries throw millions of dollars to the wind, and it's not cool. It's rough. And so one of the things that I've noticed is that if we're all sourcing the same casks while we're aging and while we're building out our own identity, look, we're in this rat race where no one's going to win. You cannot beat the corporations. You have to do something different. And so, for me, it's about, and I started testing this theory maybe 6 years ago. Not with the particular virgin cask you have, Damon, but I did this with the distillery that I worked with. I said, look, you guys use organic grains, pretty good organic grains, maybe not the really expensive, like next level dense heirloom grains, but pretty damn good organic grains. And you have them in new oak. Well, I don't do that, but I can blend, and I can blend with my used oak. I can even blend with glass age distillate and get to a profile that has good grains, and we all took a risk together, and we made something beautiful that was not like the others. And guess what? There was no giant corporation involved. So over the past 5 years, especially since 2020, I have been snooping around the United States and on the phone and in person when I find a distillery I think might use organic grains. And I find out, hey, would you mind if I ask what your barrel selection is? You know, if you're looking to sell some, because maybe they don't have a connection like I have to the market, where I say, you know what, I live in this industry. I live at wine bars. I live at cafes. I cook all the time, you know, just like all of you. I mean, we're all excited. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I designed this label. It's really simple. It's a little bit sexy. It's really chill, but you know what? It's different. Okay. I like this label. Not every distillery is confident in their labels. And unfortunately, we all know this. Distilleries have been lost because of the label, and wineries have been lost because of the damn label. Okay. Yeah, and so that's what I look at as community. I don't look at it because, like, look, most guys are like, hey, I want to source some whiskey. Send me a rye barrel. I'm putting my name on it. I'm telling all my rich friends I made this. More or less. Come on, let's be real. Like, more or less, there's a lot of that, right? Well, no. Okay. So I'm, you know, I like really engaging in my product. I make it. I work with people who help me make it. It's cool. It's like this whole joint effort. You know, it's mostly me, but also, yeah, I get some help, and that's great. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is now, as my growth happens, the vodka and my new whiskey blue blend that's coming out. You're going to like, there's like two things you're going to see in Total Wine. The rest is not. The rest has always been at tiny little shops, but you know what? It's time to put more heirloom grains on more shelves. And so I've basically picked a couple products that I'm just going to focus in. I'm like, yo, we're repeating these. We're growing these. Everything else, there's going to be hundreds of cherries on top.
This is the lime leaf and Buddha hand.
Ooh.
This is kind of one of the things I love about your work is, like, I was looking at this bottle and I was like, I don't even know how I would begin to describe this to someone who was like a layperson. Like, I'm like, I guess the closest thing, I'm like, it's a botanical spirit. It's definitely not a gin.
Right.
And it just made me want to ask you this question, because you've done, you know, like, I also have your prickly pear Amaro. I've got a black lime infused grappa that you did on my back bar. And I just want to ask, what's the biggest swing you've ever taken? Have you ever done anything where you just kind of were like shaking your head like, oh, Rob, you're crazy for this one, buddy? Like, what has really made you kind of surprised at yourself?
Oh, thanks, man. That's such a sweet question. Well, what comes to mind is Maybe like I'll mention what something I did this year is, while I'm scaling my vodka and blue blend, I also spent a lot of time with some family and friends too, picking prickly pear this season. Cause I've been picking prickly pear thanks to one of my best friends and mentors, Noel Patterson in Tucson, for years. And he's taught me how to forage, and actually picking prickly pear is not like, with grapes, I pick them really early. So I get a lot more acid than sugar, right? Like I really like that. But with prickly pear, you want to pick them pretty late, but not so late that the bacteria and the bugs and the animals get them. And of course, I never take more than like half a plant, just because I really like javelina and I like the creatures to eat them. But so with some friends, we picked a lot of prickly pear this year, and I infused it with some of my Tanat, no additive natural wine, and made a really next level prickly pear brandy. And it was a lot of work, and there's about 5 gallons. So, it's stuff like that, I would say. But, actually, I got a funny one for you. I know what you want to hear. Okay. This is funny. Dude.
Yeah.
So
this is not the first story. Dig deep. Give me the weird fucked up B-sides.
This is from a while back, dude. I was being really irreverent, and I realized, like, okay, frankincense and myrrh, I can get that resin. I can get those resins like from a really good source. And I can't remember what the gold was, but I was like, yo, this is my wise man offering. But I did put out a frankincense and myrrh bitters a number of years ago, and I do have a few bottles kicking around, and I will try to remember to share, because I love smelling and tasting myrrh, and myrrh's in a lot of the of course, as you guys know, like the Amari that we like. That one was fun. I made myself laugh. I was like, that's hilarious. And so I think I just made like 100 bottles, and I think I just did them like directly online. I don't think I sold out of that one. I think some people were like, what? So that might be my silliest. But I've been able to play with a lot of, I'm really interested in botanicals. Sother, you just mentioned a bunch of cool citrus, finger lime, Seville orange is something that I'm trying to push more, because there's so much of it in the Southwest, and it's such I really hate this term ornamental when it comes to food. These aren't just our accessories. Like, sure, like when I go around, I have my accessory corn. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm distilling. Okay, well, look, this one corn is living a show life. They're a show pony, but they're the one I'm using to show off, like, hey, eat this, drink this. I don't believe, like, we talk about Seville orange in the Southwest. We call it ornamental orange. Oh, that's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really acidic. It's really lovely. And so there's just a lot of interest. I'm obsessed with passion fruit. I hope I get to make a passion fruit brandy one of these days, or even liqueur. Sother, I'm sure we're going to make an Amaro together with your name on it. I just know that. Because there's so many good citrus growers out here. And I have to say, sometimes it baffles me that some of my heirloom grain farmers and my organic citrus farmers, sometimes, like, often they don't sell out of their produce. I'm like, what, really? Like, I wish I could buy it all. And I'm trying to, literally, like, that's the goal. What do you taste in there?
Oh, I decided to mix a cocktail just because and also, so I went a little off script there with that question, but the thing, Rob, I love listening to you, like the way you speak and the phrases you choose and the words you choose. It's really inspiring. It's just, you're awesome to listen to, because it's not only I think it's infotainment, in a way. It's like, I'm being informed, but also your delivery is amazing. And I've always thought that, and especially like a couple of days ago when we got to hang out in person, which is rare for me personally, because like usually everyone's in New York. So these guys get to go to their bars or whatever, like a third time. So for me to get to hang out with a guest, close to the show, it's what a pleasure. But I just decided what we were talking about.
And to the listener, they sent me a picture, and they had matching hats, and it was very
damn cute. Right. We had sensible sunwear going on.
We did. And we actually, I think at least 2 people asked us if we were brothers. And I said yes, because we are. For
yeah,
sure.
like, yeah, fuck yeah.
No,
Yeah, of course.
but also, this is a rare occasion where, I've got like 8 bottles I'm surrounded by at least 8 bottles in front of me. And I just decided, I was like, you know what, I can make a cocktail here. And something I don't get to do, another thing I don't get to do often is make a cocktail on the show with the guests that I got to hang out with this week. So I made kind of it's a very Amore Amargo type drink because I'm not using citrus. And also, what do they call bumbos when it's mixed with Scaffa, right? Yeah, Scaffa. Mixed with no ice. So, and no garnish, but it is your orange cacao bitters.
Yeah.
This is the collab with Greg's Quixote Agave.
Yes.
I am using the prickly pear Amaro.
Oh, wow.
And something
cool.
And something you wanted to talk about earlier, and you're talking about Tehachapi as well. We've got the Southwest blend. All of these things are super important to me in my career. I've always loved. I mean, first of all, I love hibiscus, and I don't do caffeine anymore, so I'll drink hibiscus tea a lot of the time, and I've used it in a lot of cocktails.
So good.
Prickly pear Amaro. I actually, I'm a big Amaro person. One of the first bitters I ever made was with prickly pear that I got from Fairway Market in Red Hook. The other one was Buddha's Hand, like back in 2006 or something like that. Dude. You know how I like my heirloom corn, and I love the Southwest. Yes. And so this is just like kind of a mixture of all these beautiful things. Half of the bottles that you sent me, and
that is so fun, dude. Yeah,
it's only missing frankincense and myrrh, and
a little gold leaf on top too.
Yeah, exactly.
As every immaculately conceived child deserves.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to kind of bring us in, coast into the landing here by maybe talking a little bit about the future and looking to the future of agriculture, because you clearly have a great relationship with a lot of the people that are producing the raw ingredients, the grains, the fruits, the vegetables that go into the things that you're making. Where is that going to go? It sounds like this has been good for you and good for the folks that you work with. And it's clearly good for the consumer. Because again, if it hasn't been clear listening to this, we are enjoying drinking the stuff that Rob has made on this podcast. So do you see more of this happening, or is this still going to be a very niche thing, do you think, going forward?
Look, until I do believe I do have an opinion about where this is going, and I do believe that my brand is it's been slowly growing, right? I do believe there's going to be a moment where the brand gets more fully understood by more people, and I would be grateful to help people incorporate these grains into their everydays, like like I said, easy flatbreads. Even if you're gluten free, there are wonderful heirloom grains and beans for you to get behind, and they bolster real farmers who are keeping our ground intact from dust bowls. They're helping keep away like plagues of pests by planting diversity. Okay, there's a higher likelihood, right, of them paying their workers well when, you know what I mean? That's all, you can't use blanket statements, right? There's no Puritanism here. I'm not trying to greenwash. Everything's complicated. I do drive cars, and I put gasoline in the car to do it. This isn't a perfect project. Right. Okay. So that being said, look, I do believe my brand is going to have an impact on what distillers do in the United States. I do. And I'm dead set on that. And I've been dead set on that. And so, and it's an inclusive, loving thing. It's, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be really more, I think once my brand really, especially with Skurnick's help and a couple distributors' help of getting this to, because look, most spirit brands come from marketing first, right? And they buy their placements. None of this stuff is organic. And I mean, obviously, what's inside the juice and what's outside the juice. And so this is a grassroots thing that is thick from the roots, but is still in the process of fruiting, right? And so my brand, that is. And so I think that we have to figure out ways to get bread and heirloom grains understood by kids. And because if their palates aren't affected, then we're all fucked. So we have to, and that's, real quick, like Farmer Mai, that's why they're really passionate about, because they have kids in the public school systems. Well, that's their perspective is, look, boomers do find out about good food and they can get into it. They'll dabble, some of them more than others. We need to make sure that kids are tasting real earthy food. And sure. How funny, like, yes, I have an alcohol brand. Okay, great. But I am suggesting that if you're a parent and you get into this, that, look, I'm not saying it's wasted on you, but like, if you're really thoroughly getting into this, you should start considering, oh my God, let me taste all the heirloom grains in my food, because that is just as rewarding. Right. And so this message is about daily bread, because like one major company owns all the corn, right? My ancestors aren't the stewards of corn. My ancestors are the stewards of rye, barley, and wheat, etc. Right? But I'm lucky enough to buy from, mostly from people who their ancestry, involves this wonderful broad plant corn. We should be encouraging buying from Hacienda, which has really good macerina that's ready to go. We should be encouraging people to like to your agency, right? I'm not trying to be Gwyneth Paltrow over here, okay? I'm not like let me, to respect to my parents, James and Deborah Easter. I grew up seeing them drink Carlo goddamn Rossi, right? Okay, the jug wine, yeah. And look, no disrespect, right? Because look, in America, we don't have good table wine that's affordable, generally speaking, right? And we should there. Some people with money could offer some things that actually we could have better versions of these daily table things, right? And so I've dabbled in that as well, right? I did come out with a really expensive whiskey to begin with, and most of my whiskeys are pretty high price point. Please do remember, folks, this is 25 servings, right? So when you see 100 proof whiskey, let's just say, for example, I'll just pick a random number, $100. That's $4 a glass at home. So if you see a big ass, this is big. This is a lot of whiskey. You could hurt yourself with this whiskey. Okay. Like, just remember, this is an America size. I also love putting out the smaller bottles, right? So that you can dabble and taste. So I don't know, there's a lot there, right? But honestly, we're talking about quality. We're talking about quantity. It doesn't have to necessarily, yes, we need more quality than quantity. This is America, and we're trying to reverse the falsehood, the greed focused lie that infinite growth is a real thing, because it ain't, right? Okay. So, that being said, there's a lot of ways for us to have really awesome, California grown rice in our cuisine. If anything, I want people to learn from me is that I am a human. I want to be a better human every day. I want to eat the plants. I want to eat the things around me from other humans. And we're all going to dabble with some technology. Don't give into it. Do something simple. Focus on the fundamentals, and figure out just like little ways to incorporate. You're like, I can't afford to go to the farmer's market. Word up. Look, I've had all kinds of finances, and I'm really privileged that I focus on food and drink. And even when I'm broke, I somehow have this twisted perspective that, with what I do for a living, I need to go spend all my money at the farmer's market. Okay, well, you know what? I don't really regret that.
Yeah, it's for work, of course.
But, yeah. So where do I see it going? I don't know, but I hope some people use some heirloom grains and start trying different things, because our brains are wired. Of course, we're just these wonderful, genius, silly apes, right? Who we have to recognize our body wants what it had yesterday because we survived. And that is a meditation that helped take us out of our routines of trying something new, right? It's not our fault. You want a cheeseburger, you had it yesterday. Okay, cool. Have the cheeseburger tomorrow. Try this other thing today. Okay. Like, it's as simple as that. We're afraid of newness. And that's what I've been doing my whole career. So I'm really up front on the, ground level with people and myself. I'm a human too. but the psychology behind it is amazing. So we have to figure out how to each other spread, this new album that merges genres or whatever it is. But it's going to take just person to person going, try this, homie.
Totally. Well, honestly, when you mentioned Carlo Rossi, it kind of made me think of like, if that's what my parents were drinking back in the day, if I brought like a nice bottle of like, I don't know, Shetchenuf to Pop or whatever, like they would be like, this is weird,
Yeah, exactly.
So you kind of have to like take it from that perspective and be like, all right, but check this out. This is like a Pet Nat or Peak Pool, like we were going to order on Tuesday or Monday. Something, but like, especially like a Pet Nat or something like that. They're like, oh, this is fucked up. This wine's bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, really, no, it's natural.
It's like, nope, this is how people been drinking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We just,
at least sometimes
just add a lot more sugar or whatever, So, and a lot more new oak, right? See,
Boom.
That's a little callback. They call that a callback in the industry.
We need to bash more new oak. You know what? Leave the forest alone.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's already given us more than it ever should have. So you're all over the place. Like right now you're in Ukiah. We were hanging out in San Francisco earlier this week. Where do you spend more of your time? Are you down in Tucson or are you in California? And when you're there, where do you like to go drink?
Yeah.
And what do you drink?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. I drink a bit of wine. That's what I like to drink. And especially, you want your distiller to not be drinking spirits every day. Trust me. You want that out of me for my betterment and for yours, because my palate shouldn't be taxed on spirits every goddamn day. No.
Yeah.
And so I mostly live in Tucson, but yes, I do. I travel for production. I travel to meet people and show my product. And mostly I hover a lot in Arizona and California. Okay. That's where I'm at a lot. Okay. All over the place. And so I have to shout out my guy, Christopher Marino in Tucson, Arizona at 5 Points. He runs a hell of an intentional and focused bar. The man doesn't get stuck in the weeds. He does not. He's never heard of a weed. And it doesn't mean he worked at Bar Agricole for the better part of 10 years. So I'm really proud to have. Look, Tucson has great bartenders. We have really great bread makers in Tucson, and we have really great bartenders. We could use some more natural wine bars, but I digress. The wine list at 5 Points, phenomenal. So if you're in Southern Arizona, I want to send you to 5 Points for a cocktail with my stuff or Pisco. And then also Katie's got an amazing wine list there. I would send you up to Bad Jimmy's in Phoenix because I like their wine list. It's got a red, a rosé, an orange, and a white, and they're all phenomenal. And they're all like kind of in the category of like, medium price, but really hitting hard for the money. They all, and then Bacanora, recent James Beard Award winner. I have to brag about that spot. I love working with them. Really cool Bacanora Mezcal selection. When I'm in the Bay, I'm fully obsessed with Judubu, the Korean spot. And as a mostly plant guy, they kill it with the amazing pickle spreads and phenomenal diversity of plant foods and simple, good wine list. Shout out to the Alembic in San Francisco, an amazing, venerable institution that now has, different owners than the founders who have taken them into a very this really interesting spot of being a classic cocktail bar like us old timers who saw the cocktail industry boom in the past 15 years of a lot of diverse spirits, really loving service, really loving hospitality. They care to, I would say they cater to small makers. They really pay attention. I love bars who pay attention to small makers. Can you tell? I mean, I'm sure I could list more, but I think, Judubu is somewhere where I love eating and drinking.
I've not been. I'll definitely check it out.
Yotambien is where I eat a lot. They have also amazing wine. It's a tamale bowl spot. with, utmost ingredients, the utmost quality of ingredients, but pretty damn. I mean, especially in San Francisco. I mean, this is affordable food and it's top quality sourcing. And their wine list is, again, small, really amazing. So that's what you're probably going to get out of me right now is kind of the wine stuff.
Cool.
But
Sure.
I'm really into bars that have fewer spirits and higher end spirits. I think it's doable. I think you can pour shorter pours and get people into your list more than ever. I hear it from drinkers all the time. More than ever, like they really, they less is more, right? They obviously people are generally drinking less. We know that. And I think they want to try a few things and they want like smaller pours. So yeah.
Yeah, drinking less, not me on this episode. It's 10:45 in California, and I'm having a cocktail and a sample. But you know what? I'm really
we got to play around
because
life is short. Life is short. We got to have our really fun days. We got to have our fun days.
That's right. And
as we were talking about with the farmers market, it's for work. We're doing this. This is a job.
We're doing this for work. Luckily, I don't have to drive anywhere.
Me neither. Well, Rob, if people want to follow along with your exploits, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, check me out on Instagram at Workhorse Rye and then at Modern Ancient Spirits. If you want to try me at your bar, Rob at workhorserye.com or hit up Skurnik in California. Check me out there, workhorserye.com, and let's experience something.
Yeah, and his the Instagram feeds are just phenomenal.
They're good. They're good. They're worth your time.
Entertainment.
Trying to be my silly self and say a couple real things now and again.
Man, really appreciate your time and like your insights and the depth and breadth of your passion is quite clear.
Also, the fact that
so really,
you can do this. You're inspiring in the fact that like Sother always says, it's like and Greg and well, all of us really. It's like anything that's cool it's hard work, and
Thank you.
You've put in a lot of hard work on this, so it's like cool. It means it can be done, but it takes hard work,
Yes,
but it's very cool. So we're really appreciative of you being on the show.
I really appreciate being seen like that, and shout out to my friends and family that helped me along with this and my farmers. So thank you for seeing that. Yes.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you for joining us. But that is going to do it for us this week on the Speakeasy. However, if that wasn't quite the fix you were looking for, you can become a regular on our Patreon. Rob is, as you might have noticed, a chatty guy, as are the three of us. And there was a lot of conversation we didn't have time for on the main show. So if you want to hear the whole thing, well, sign up and be a regular, baby. Our regulars also get longer episodes with bonus content, no ads, cocktail recipes from all of our guests, access to our monthly live hangouts, and a free cocktail kit each month from our friends at Shaker and Spoon. We unfortunately had to postpone our October live stream. Thank you very much, New York City Subway. But that means we will be rescheduling a bonus live stream in early November. So stay tuned for details. Speaking of details, you can see all of the details and become a funder. I don't really know what they call them, but you can become a Kickstarter person for Sauced. We're going to have a link for that in the show notes as well. And if you want to watch us making the Stanley Tucci eating pasta face, as we tasted Rob's spirits, you can watch the show on YouTube. No submitting your credit card, no two-factor authentication, no BS, just good old free streaming like the internet used to be. And speaking of the internet and how it used to be a nice place, if you want to be nice, leave us a comment, hit like, hit subscribe. It really does help the show, and it helps new folks find their way to us at youtube.com/@speakeasy.podcast. And be sure to tune in next week when our guest is Patrick Dooley. He is an American bartender in Paris who is resurrecting the Boulevardier, not the drink, the Lost Generation era print magazine from 100 years ago. They've got articles by Georgette Moger alongside long lost articles from Ernest Hemingway. So tune in next time to hear more about that. But for now, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
So you don't shun the devil with your rock and roll load. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil runs his groove in them rhythm and blues that sound. It's gonna get you